In January 2025, President Trump signed an executive order that put a stop to DEI programs in the federal government. But that wasn't all. These orders also pressured private companies to follow suit. Federal contractors, businesses that work with the government, were warned that if they continue DEI efforts, they would face penalties. The administration urged that the many DEI policies were discriminatory against certain groups. The key point here is that while government cannot legally force private businesses to abandon DEI, Trump's team is finding ways to apply pressure. They are using lawsuits, political influence, and public pressure to make businesses think twice about their diversity programs. Companies are terrified of being on Trump's DEI blacklist. Legal experts Kenjing Muski. This fear is causing major shifts across corporate America, with some companies quickly scaling back their DEI efforts, while others are trying to balance their commitments with the legal concerns. Corporate America retreats but face backlash. A montage of company logos Walmart, Target, Meta, Coca Cola. Big brand names are making changes to the DEI policies, hoping to avoid trouble. But instead of making everyone happy, they're angering many customers and the civil rights group. Here are just a few examples. Target shut down its racial equity centers, quietly dropped some of its DEI goals after facing backlash from conservative groups. Coca Cola found itself at the center of boycott calls for unverified claims about its ties to federal immigration enforcement. McDonald's and Amazon both rebranded or downsized their diversity teams, claiming they were trying to avoid legal risks. These decisions have led to a wave of consumer protests. Consumers' reaction. A nationwide economic blackout is planned for February 28th. Activists are urging people not to shop at major retailers for a full day to send a message. The Latino Freeze movement is pushing for a boycott of companies connected to Trump's strict immigration policy. Companies hope that backing away from the DEI would claim controversy. Instead, they created a whole new wave of problems. Civil rights leaders aren't sitting back and watching these changes unfold without a fight. Reverend Al Sharpton and his organization, the National Action Network, have already announced boycotts targeting businesses that abandon their DEI commitments. Groups like Radical Justice Network are organizing long-term boycotts against companies that have dropped diversity initiatives. And Sharpton himself made it clear that these protests will have economic power behind them. Sharpton's warning: we will remind corporations black buying power is 1.7 trillion. That number is important. It means that the black consumers alone spend more than $1 trillion every year in the US. If a significant portion of that money is directed away from the businesses pulling back on DEI, the financial impact could be massive. This kind of pressure is part of a broader push to show companies that diversity efforts aren't just about public relations. They're about real consumer loyalty and economic influence. Not all companies are backing down. Logos like JP Morgan Chase, Costco, Goldman Sachs, while some companies are stepping away from DEI, others are standing firm despite the political and legal pressure. Here are a few major corporations defying the trend. Costco shareholders overwhelmingly voted to keep supporting diversity programs, rejecting efforts to roll them back. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon made a public statement saying his company will not abandon DEI. Goldman Sachs and Pinster both reaffirmed their commitment to diversity even as legal battles loom. So why are these companies sticking with their DEI when others are backing away? The answer is simple: money. Studies have shown that diverse companies perform better financially. In fact, research suggests that companies with strong diversity programs see up to a 19% higher revenue. That's a big incentive to keep these policies in place. no matter what the political climate looks like. The big picture, what happens next? As boycotts continue, legal fights unfold, businesses try to navigate these complex issues, and the future of DE in corporate America is uncertain. But one thing is clear, these debates is far from over. There are a few key questions we need to ask. Will more companies drop DEI policies to avoid legal battles? If lawsuits against diversity programs continue, some businesses might see them as too risky. Will the consumer pressure be strong enough to reverse these decisions? If major boycotts gain traction, companies might have to rethink their stance. What role will the courts play? Many of these legal battles are just getting started, and their outcomes could set new precedents for how businesses handle DEI in the future. One thing is certain, the way companies respond now could redefine their future. Will they choose inclusion or will they bow to political pressure? These decisions will have long term consequences, not just for their employees, but for their reputation and financial success. Where do you stand? This issue isn't just about corporations, it's about the values we prioritize as in society. Some believe DEI is essential for creating fair workplaces. Others see it as unnecessary or even harmful. No matter where you stand, one thing is clear. This conversation is shaping the future of businesses in America. So, what do you think? Should companies continue DEI efforts or are they right to back away? Let's keep this conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay informed. Thanks for watching.